Hello, and welcome back to Trails, Tales, and Fails, the podcast where we celebrate the highs, lows, and everything in between on the ultra running journey. Today's guest is someone who embodies endurance in its rawest form, Lizzie Gatherer, known to many as Ultra Mad Lizzie. She has built a reputation for resilience and determination, from signing up to her first ultra on 3 days' notice to becoming a regular on the UK's toughest start lines. Lizzie has gone on to achieve remarkable things, tackling the legendary Dragon's Back, setting loads of fastest known times, and most recently conquering the tough Copthorne 100 for the third time, a race notorious for its brutally low finish rate. But Lizzie's story isn't just about miles on point-to-point runs. She's also carved out a niche in the unique world of backyard ultras, where the format itself is as much of a mental test as a physical one. Lizzie is also a fellow Protein Rebel ambassador and is also sponsored by Snacked. Now, for future episodes, we're introducing our Achievement of the Episode segment, spotlighting a listener who has achieved something inspiring or remarkable. So if you have a story to share, or perhaps you know somebody who should have their story shared, DM us on Instagram and we'd love to share it on the pod. We're also building the Trails, Tales and Fails community beyond the podcast, and you can join our Strava club to connect with fellow listeners, share your runs and celebrate your own achievements. The link will be going in the show notes. Whether you're inspired by epic endurance feats, curious about the psychology of running until you literally can't anymore, then this one's for you. It's a pleasure to welcome the remarkable Lizzie, and if you enjoy the pod, please leave us a rating and share it with your running buddies, as it really does help us reach more trail-loving ears. Hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much for coming to join us today, Lizzie. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. That was very loud and overexcited. I'm so sorry.
That's my general personality.
Oh gosh. We're going to jump straight in because we like to do our little icebreaker questions about who you would like to run with you, perhaps a celebrity pacer, 3 brutal backyard laps. Who are you picking and why?
I'm going to go for Ricky Gervais. I find him really funny. He's incredibly intelligent. I know he does run, but I don't think he likes running. So I would spend the whole lap probably laughing my arse off at him complaining a lot. But if he can pull it together and do a really good lap with me, then I would like to think that he'd either make me laugh or educate me on something really interesting. So
we haven't had that one before. I think a bit of laughter on, like, I don't know, on the zillionth lap you're doing, it's got to bring something positive
really,
to the experience.
You definitely need to keep a sense of humour about you on backyard.
It would definitely need to be funny Ricky Gervais, not like moaning, throwing his toys out of the pram Ricky Gervais. But yeah, that's a great shout.
I don't know. Yeah, quite a deep conversation about religion. 98 miles into a run.
Yeah, I think. Well, exactly. Or he loves animals as well, doesn't he? So he could like tell me all about the donkeys or something, or his beer. He's got that beer brand now as well. So yeah.
Oh, you're a big fan.
Oh yeah. No, I was just thinking. Well, he's an atheist, isn't he? So
Robbie, let's not get onto the subject of religion.
No, I just told
you. I've told you so many times.
When I'm praying for death on the final lap, he can just tell me there is no God.
So many times not to go down this rabbit hole.
Guilty pleasures. Apparently, it can't be religion.
No, I'm going to go. It's at Easter eggs, basically. I bulk buy them at Easter when they've gone half price, so I always have a year's worth of supply of Cadbury and Lindt Easter eggs. Cadbury Easter eggs and Lindt bunnies in the cupboard. So or Biscoff straight from the jar. That's pretty good too.
Hang on, that's come up a lot.
Yeah, we got a problem in our household of Biscoff straight from the jar.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go in for a cheeky spoon, but it seems to be quite popular, Biscoff from the jar.
And I've just discovered the pistachio spread from Costco as well. So that's kind of like, I'm not quite sure which I prefer now, the Biscoff or the pistachio, but I just do both.
With the Easter eggs, do they go off? They still got that the loveliness of them.
They still have their, yeah, they've got about a year. I mean, I'm quite educated on Easter eggs as I've been doing this my entire life, but yeah, they have about a year sell-by date on them. So
good to know.
I just need to eat them before Boxing Day because they go on sale on Boxing Day. So yeah.
Yes, Lizzie, you are educated on Easter eggs.
How do you open your Easter eggs then? You're obviously a professional Easter egg opener.
Well, they've changed them because it used to be they would easily break apart, but they don't seem to do that. So you have to like sort of bite into them, which can be a bit awkward. So yeah, I mean, really, I guess I could get a spoon or something and smash into them, but no, I go for the full bite and then they explode everywhere, all over the sofa and myself. So yeah,
I'd love to see you take one of those. Just a race
yeah,
pack full of Easter eggs.
yeah.
Just
I
Well,
love
I
chucking them
usually
open as
have.
you run around.
I often have Freddo. I mean, which ultra runner does not have a Freddo? But yeah, no, the Freddo Easter eggs are really cool. So yeah, I could take a Freddo Easter egg with me.
So would you take a bit of Easter egg out on a long run with you?
No, no, I only it's a good idea. No, no, I wouldn't, because ideally it needs to be with a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's going to be a good app. I mean, that's a strong start.
Yeah.
Got a lot to talk about already.
But Rob, we're going to try and stick slightly to the script of what we're going to talk about. If there's time, we can always come back to it.
Double back.
So we do ask our guests just about their backstory and how they got into runnings. Looking at your website, which is what's your website domain?
It's ultramadlizzie.com.
Correct. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a test. I'm pretty sure that you said that you had run some shorter distances and then on 3 days' notice you signed up to a 30 miler, was it?
Yeah. So I suppose my fitness journey started with boot camp. So boot camp is still very much at the heart of what I do. And it was great because it gave, I got a really good social life from it. We'd do a Saturday morning. So the boot camp sessions were during the week, and then Saturday morning would be a run. And then my friend from boot camp, she told me she'd entered an ultra, and it was in 3 days' time, and I was like, well, that sounds amazing. Didn't, because I didn't really know what it was, but I got the idea. It was longer than a marathon, and then there was quite a few aid stations which I knew would have food, so which I'm quite motivated by. I don't know if you've gathered that already, but she and I was just like, well, we're the same level of fitness, so if she can do it, surely I can. So I entered it. Oh, that was it. Then a discount code popped up on my Facebook feed, and I was like, oh, it's meant to be. So I entered it, and it was in 3 days' time. And I texted her and I said, Jo, I've entered that ultra you're doing. Do you fancy a lift share? But it turned out she had entered her ultra was actually in 3 weeks' time. So I hadn't even entered the right race. And yeah, I had well, you can't prepare for in 3 days, can you? So so I just rocked up, and I did manage my expectations really well. I knew it was going to be difficult, and I knew to go slowly, and I said to myself, at every single aid station, make sure you enjoy what they have, and that's exactly what I did. And it was, I don't recall there being a low. I just think the whole thing was absolutely fantastic, and that's what set me on this course, I suppose, to where I am today.
So from that 30 miler to the Dragon's Back and beyond, which is quite a massive journey in a period of time.
Yeah.
What moments have shaped you to sort of become the ultra runner you are?
Well, after that first race, so I'm a bit different to other people. A lot of people have a lot of doubts, and they say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But sod that, I'm just like, I can do it. Even if I don't believe it, I tell myself and I tell everyone I'm capable of doing it. So I did that first 30 miler, and actually I think it was 36 miles. And then I found out about UTMB. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to enter UTMB. And then I found out that I needed to, get it wasn't stones, but it was something else. You needed, I think it's stones now, isn't it? You needed to qualify. And the next available race that I could do that fitted in with work was an 82-mile winter ultra. So I entered that, didn't prepare for it really. It was the worst experience of my life. I said to my husband, I'm never doing that ever again. Then I don't know what happened. Something must have happened. I obviously forgot the pain and the misery. Thank God I didn't get my UTMB ballot place, because I think that would have just been a disaster, and possibly the end of me. So I think that was I think the second ultra was quite a key moment, because it was a real leveler. It's, yes, have this confidence, have this belief in yourself, but you need to also have some level of I suppose, reality. um and don't, my husband always says that I live in a permanent like Lizzie bubble, which is nice, but I think that race, yeah, it was good to level me. And then I suppose the next thing that shaped me was getting into FKTs, uh because in order to do some of the FKTs I wanted to do, I needed to read a map and a compass. I didn't know how to do that. These were all skills I had to learn, and then in learning map and compass skills, I then learned mountain craft. So I kind of gradually learned how to be on the mountains. It was a very slow process. I didn't really notice it was happening, and then one day I was like, oh my god, I can manage myself in the mountains. Put me anywhere, I can get anywhere, so I think the FKTs certainly they've been a massive part of my journey. And a lot of what I do is I live 2.5 hours from the Brecon Beacons, so a lot of what I do is over that way, and I've got loads of friends there through running. So yeah, I think, yeah, Wales, FKTs, and that second ultra I did, they definitely helped shape me.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey.
It's that mindset that you talk about, I think you, as you said, you are unique. There are probably a lot more runners who run ultras, especially because of the nature of how difficult ultras are, who do really, really doubt themselves. And,
Yeah.
this I reassure people, like, it's okay to feel anxious about having to go out and do like a 3-hour training run, or it's okay to feel like nerves and apprehension about something big that you signed up for. So is that positive mindset and just like, yeah, I can do it, I can smash it, is that something which just comes totally naturally to you then, or is that something that you've developed?
I think it's natural. I spoke to my family, my sister, my brother, my mum recently, in sort of a journey, finding more about myself. And I wanted to find out what was I like as a child, because obviously my brother, my sister, my parents, they all have different sort of stories. But yeah, I think as a child, I was always very happy, very positive. And I don't know, maybe it was the environment I was brought up in, perhaps, but I don't. There's no limits to what we can do. You should never limit yourself. So I think the mindset for me is massive. It's a huge part of why I think I've had success in various races. And it is something that is natural, but then I do also see a mindset coach as well, so it's something I'm constantly working on, and it's something I'm in the process. I'm sort of you can't sort of be qualified as such as a mindset coach, but I've done various certificates to sort of give myself as close to a qualification as possible, because it's something I'm so interested in.
Yeah.
And you can never stop learning, really. And
do you
yeah.
find that although like that's such a positive thing to have, and I think loads of people would be slightly envious of how positive you can be about yourself and what you're capable of, do you sometimes find though that there are moments when you need to just like have somebody to pull you back?
I think I hang out with amazing people. So my friends, no one pulls me back. No one says no. I think people might think, oh, that's not such a good idea, and then they
Yeah.
might help steer me on a better journey. The goal is still the goal, but maybe put some extra training in to, like Dragon's Back, for example. No, I tell you what, I've got a very good example. So my friend Kevin, he crewed me on the 50 yards I did in March. He was my crew, and he's paced me and crewed me on various things. The very first time I met him, I knew he had done Dragon's Back, and that's why I made a beeline for him. He was a coach at our running club. So I made a beeline for him. I introduced myself, and it was something along the lines of, "Hi, Kev, my name's Lizzie, and I want to be the first woman to do the Berkeley Marathons." And he did not raise an eyebrow or anything. He was just like, "Okay, how are we going to make this happen?" And that's partly why I did Dragon's Back, because I looked, people who do the Berkeley, what do? They do really, really hard stuff. And they also need to know how to use a map and a compass. So Kev, he didn't say, no, that's impossible, you'll never be able to do it. He just gave me ideas on like stepping stones toward, my journey to Berkeley. I need to be able to use a map and a compass. I need to have done hard stuff. So yeah, he just kind of helped guide me. So yeah. Sorry, that was a very long-winded answer.
No,
You're going to get a lot of those.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and that's also important to have.
Yeah.
People that don't want to put the brakes on you, but try and steer you to get to that goal in just maybe a slightly different way. Or yeah, awesome. Should we Rob? I think you're up with the next question, aren't you?
Yeah. But why who else is it going to be? So you're known as Ultra Mad Lizzie.
Yeah.
And obviously you've just told us you went from boot camp to the Dragon's Back race, which is quite mad. So I can sort of understand the nickname, but how do you think the nickname has become part of your identity?
So I was Mad Lizzie before I was a runner. So when I was at boot camp, there were so the boot camps it's all local but different locations, and there were two Lizzies. And after every session, someone would be awarded the firework, which is a very highly sought after thing. It just meant that you had worked the hardest that session, or you had showed the most improvement or determination, whatever. So, it would go onto Facebook, Lizzie got the firework. So then, it would be, which Lizzie? Blonde Lizzie or Mad Lizzie? And I was Mad Lizzie. And I was always called Mad Lizzie for a long bit. I didn't know. I had no idea that people, or they'd say, oh, Lizzie did this at this session. And again, which Lizzie, Blonde Lizzie or Mad Lizzie? So I had no idea that was my nickname. And then I don't think it was a secret, it just sort of came out one day, and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think I'm incredibly just bubbly and excited. I perhaps behave like a child. So maybe that's why I'm Mad Lizzie. And then when it came to creating an Instagram account, I just thought it should be Mad Lizzie. But then I thought, well, what if a prospective employer one day looks at it? They might take it the wrong way. So I was an Ultra Mad Lizzie thinking Ultra Mad Lizzie. But then someone pointed out recently that I kind of made it worse, because instead of saying I was Mad Lizzie, they were saying I was Ultra Mad Lizzie. And I was like, I'd never even, it was literally just a few months ago someone pointed that out to me. So I've potentially made the situation worse. But anyway, it works. And
I think the secret is, when you're applying for jobs, you just deactivate your account for a couple of weeks.
I have questions about, was this a real firework?
No, it was just a virtual
I'd love to come to this boot camp.
Yeah.
They're just handing out, in my mind, you've just walked off, so you're called Mad Lizzie, and you've walked off an explosive.
Yeah. Well, the boot camp, because that boot camp closed down, and the one I go to now, you actually get awarded a bog.
A what?
So a bog, Blaze of Glory, which shortens to bog. So everyone's like crazy about receiving the bog.
This is incredible.
So
you could go on for ages, couldn't you? We're delighted to be partnered with Protein Rebel. Runners, you want to perform at your best? Recover faster and stay injury-free? Protein Rebel has you covered. All natural, tasty, and free from unnecessary additives. Their products are gentle on the stomach, perfect for fueling your runs. Right now, get 15% off with code TTF15. That's TTF15. Fuel smarter, recover better, and crush your trails. Link in the show notes. I know we're super excited because we've spoken about it for a while, but we haven't had somebody on before who's done backyard ultras like you have. We've had some guests, but obviously your specialism is like, obviously you're very good 100-mile runner, but also your specialist is like, you are insane at backyards. So for our listeners who don't really understand what a backyard is, because I'm sure there is going to be some of them who don't, could you just maybe just explain exactly what a backyard ultra is and the format and how it works?
Okay, so Backyard Ultra, it has no end. There's no finish time. There's no finish distance. It's a last person standing event. So on the hour, every hour, you commence a 4.17 mile loop. The reason it's such a specific number is so that when you reach 24 hours, you have run 100 miles on the nose. So it's a really great way for those people who want to do a sub 24-hour 100-mile race. It's a great opportunity to do that in a really sort of safe environment. Backyard Ultra has really grown in popularity over the years. We've got every year there seems to be more and more new races. I'm relatively new to the sport myself. I did my first one, I think it was 2021, I think, and then had a break from it because I knew I needed to train harder. And then this year I've done 4, and yeah, so it's a very interesting sport because you've got to do everything in that hour. So you've got to run your 4.17 miles. If you need to eat, sleep, poo, all of that has to happen within those 60 minutes. So there'll be a 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute whistle. If you are not in that starting corral when the whistle goes, your race is over. And it has happened where it nearly happened to me actually. I didn't make it into the starting corral in time. So yeah, you can it's a very interesting strategic format. I think it's a bit like the running version of chess, because there's a lot more to it than running.
Yeah. So the training so I haven't done a backyard ultra, but I have done a few 100-milers. So how does the training differ from something where you don't know how many miles you're going to run to something which is a fixed distance where you know that's the outcome?
Okay, so I have worked with a coach this year, so my training plan is in their hands. I don't feel the training as such is different, the physical training, because at the end of the day, you are training for a really, really long distance. So many backyard ultras are flat, so perhaps you would choose time on feet over elevation, for example. But me personally, doing stuff in the Brecon Beacons is a big part of what I do. I like to think I do a lot of elevation, but I think the key training for backyard ultra is your mind. I think that is the one different thing, because it's to stand on a start line. So I did the Copthorne races recently, and that was my first A to B race for months, because the last number of races have been backyards. To stand on that start line and know that I would be done after 103 miles was such a weird feeling, because I'm kind of not, I've got out of that habit. So yeah, when you stand on that start line and you have no idea when you're going to finish, you've really got to get your head around that. So I think the key thing you could add to your training is definitely training your brain. I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, it must be it must be a huge shift. Yeah, I think mental shift.
So obviously you've done mindset training. So the training each lap is, well, the mindset each lap. But how do you sort of reset at the end of each lap? Is it kind of like just a get straight back on with it, or are you? Because I think I'd sort of be approaching it sort of like maybe set yourself a goal of 100k, see how that goes, and then push on to the 100 and then see how that goes, or is there more to it than that?
I think there's more to it. So I personally think it's dangerous setting a goal, because if you don't achieve that goal, you will feel like you failed. And then if you reach that goal, that's potentially a limiting thought. You've reached your goal, so your body might just totally give up on you, and you can't do any more, or you can only do 4 or 8 miles more, and then it's just too much. So setting goals, I think, it's playing with fire, but it depends what your actual goal is. If you're there to win, that's one thing. But if you're there to achieve a distance PB, then absolutely it's important to have your main goal and then your mini goals leading towards it. So, and then you said about resetting every lap. So after Sherwood Pines in March, I was really overwhelmed with the messages I received from people asking me sort of tips and tricks on Backyard Ultra. And I remember one person said, "Are you a robot?" And I thought, do you know what? I think they've hit the nail on the head, because for me, I do kind of go into this robotic state. You have to stay when you're on a 100-mile run. You sort of go into this this zen, this euphoria, the flow state, and miles pass, and you don't even realize you've done it. That can't always happen in a backyard ultra, because you have to keep stopping. So I just get into the habit of being like a robot. So I have no idea what lap I'm on. I don't know how many miles I've done. I don't know what time of day it is. It's just a case of rinse and repeat every single lap, and just make sure you're getting food and drink down you, and sleep when you can. It's I think resetting the brain every lap for me would not work. I need to go into this robotic state to get it done.
Thinking about training, we obviously we talk about specificity, and you say the mindset is really, really important. So I think one of the barriers for people not wanting to do a backyard is the fact that they would find doing the same loop over and over again quite boring. So when you're out training, would you just, and I know you do your training in the Brecons, so I'm guessing there's a lot of variety in your training, but do you also just go, right, this session needs to be a mindset session, time on feet, where I'm just running loops and I'm just getting my brain used to seeing the same thing for 4 hours, 5 hours, and I know you wouldn't want to do that all the time because you also want it to be enjoyable, but is there ever that element of like really getting into that specific mindset?
So I've done, I think, 2 training runs. Sort of, before my first backyard ultra, I did a 12-hour training run under backyard rules from my home. And the reason I did that was to find out if I wanted to enter the backyard ultra in the first place. And then this year I did another similar one. I think it was maybe for 6 hours, and I did it at night time. And the purpose of that was to practice sleeping in between yards. But it's so unreal. When you do it from your home, it is so unrealistic. It's nothing like race day. All of my mindset, not all of it, but the bulk of my mindset is done at home, indoors. I think we all have those experiences on races, when we go through really hard stuff, we go into negative spaces. So I guess that's, you will always learn from that. But I think if you're spiraling negatively on a run, that's not a mindset session. That's where you need to use your mindset to get yourself out of the negativity and back into a positive state of mind. So so the bulk of my brain training, I guess, it's done at home, and then on runs, I'll go through difficult situations, bad weather, or I don't know, getting lost or whatever, and then that just adds to the I guess to the resilience training, and just add into your, look, I did that was hard, I can do that again, sort of thing.
I love how you talk so much about the character side of it, because I think in ultra running there is, like you said, about resilience and mindset, and when we have those challenges, how are we going to move on from them? And I think that's such a big part of what we do in this ultra mad
I think a
running.
lot of DNFs are to do with, not so much to do with injury. I think a lot of DNFs come from going into a negative headspace, and then afterwards the person will, when they reflect on it, they perhaps will regret their decision. So it does play a really important role, I think.
So looking at the sort of the strategy in terms of the running side of it, if you are happy to share, do you have like a strategy as to how you're going to go about it? You said about having to factor in the food and the sleep and the rest, and do you go out hard for the first few and then you got longer off? Is there like a plan, or is it you go with the flow?
Bit of both. So I try to do fairly consistent laps. So I used to get, I think, 7 minutes downtime, but I think as I've worked a bit harder with a coach this year, I've just sort of got a bit quicker. So I think on Hardwick Hall, I think I was having maybe 9-10 minutes downtime, and I just do the exact same thing every single lap. So if I walk from that bench to that tree, I will do that every single lap. because that also can buy me time. So if I'm having a really bad lap and I realize I'm slower, then I know I just need to put in, rather than the bench to the tree, go to the next tree, just do a slightly, sorry, if I'm running, just do an extra long, a little bit extra run and a little less walking, and then I can catch up on myself. And then food is a big motivator for me, as I've already said. So, I'll have certain time, like at midnight, I'll have halloumi fries or pizza. In the morning, I'll have a pan au chocolat. If I know there's a bakery nearby, then my crew will go and get me a pan au chocolat, and to have that. And it's also weirdly, like, you inadvertently can play mind games. I remember on Highlander, I've got this massive pan au chocolat from the fresh from the bakery, and like the other runners around me were like, "Oh my god, where did you get that from?" And I'm like, yeah, this is really good, so yeah. So I don't know, it's for me, there's consistency is important. Having food milestones is important as well, and having a crew. I don't think I could do it without crew. They're really, really important to me. I'd really struggle without having someone to prep all my food and remind me what I need to be doing. So some people do it without crew, and I just hats off to them. I think it's incredible.
So with sort of like sleep and fatigue, I'm interested in like the little gap between. I wish we'd started with an earlier question that I don't know anything about backyards at all. I really want to do one. I was going to say laps. It's not laps, is it? It's yards.
Well, we laps, yards, loops, whatever.
Can I just say at this stage, Rob, I would always welcome you planning the podcast and putting together the questions.
Let's have this argument off air. Let's have
You wait. I'll go and do a backyard, and I'll come back an absolute expert. But anyway, so between
that's my attitude. It's a great attitude to have.
Just to show him, and then he'll just take the mickey out of something else. He'll do it on purpose. He'll say, "You can't do the Dragon's Back," and next thing I know, I'm 3 days into the Dragon's Back. So anyway, between laps, so I'm like interested in that, because you say you had about 7 minutes. So how are you like managing? Is that consistent throughout the entire thing, or are you getting like 5 minutes sleep per lap, or are you sort of alternating between?
So the my downtime does tend to be quite consistent. I can like push myself a bit harder to go a bit faster, but then the danger is there. I've then raised my heart rate, so then it's harder to go to sleep. So what works for me is just to try and keep it consistent. And the sleeping is something in the March backyard ultra I did, I couldn't. I really tried, but I could not sleep, and I was really, really sleep deprived. So it's something I've learned to do. So I can go off to sleep really quickly now, and then my crew will wake me up. Unfortunately, the last 2 backyards I did, both of them were aborted at around 32 hours. The race didn't really, I was sort of sleeping, but the race didn't really go on long enough to have like lots of sleep. So the sleep, it tends to be 2 to 5 minutes, but other people, they'll whip round really quickly and have like a 15-20 minute sleep, which is, well, I think that's incredible. But I can't imagine myself ever being able to get round quick enough to sleep that long.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because do you ever? Well, I suppose you've got crew with you, haven't you? Because I'd just be so freaked out about. I mean, missing that start, or oversleeping, or just the panic of, and your mindset is. It sounds perfect on it as well, because I think you were saying you're kind of walking in. If you've got the time, you've got your routines. I would be absolutely bolting around. I'd be like, it's 4 miles, it's fine. Bolt round as quick as I can, and then oversleep and miss the next lap.
Yeah.
Lizzie, that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
100% that's what would happen.
I think there should be a poll with this podcast on whether he should do a backyard ultra.
That's a good idea.
Definitely enter one.
Have you got any memorable backyard moments that stand out, either funny, tough, or particularly inspiring?
Yeah, so the backyard ultra I did in March, I was on the course for 50 hours, so it's a long time. There was a lot of moments. So there were a number of memorable moments. So I got chatting to someone in the very early yards. He'd been diagnosed with cancer the day before, and he'd chose to just carry on. And I was the first non-family member that he told. Just saying that to you now gives me goosebumps. And he's fine. He's had his operation, and everything is great at the moment. But I think there's so much to that, there's the fact that running was so important to him. He wasn't not going to let something like a cancer diagnosis get in his way. It was like he was sticking 2 fingers up at cancer and saying, come on then, let's see what you've got. And the fact that he told me, also someone he's never met before, that sums up ultra running to me quite massively. The amount of deep and meaningfuls I have had with various people on various different races. Some of these people I've never met again, and you just end up pouring your hearts out to each other, and it's so therapeutic. And so I think that was a moment. It made me really appreciative of life, really proud of him. That was a special moment. Another really good moment was I met a guy called Matt on the course, and he had been doing very fast laps. He came from a road running marathon background, so I think he'd been doing 40 minutes, but he realized he needed to slow it down if he was going to have longevity. So he asked me what lap times I was doing. I think I was on like 52 minutes, 53 minutes. And he said, do you mind if I run with you and you can teach me how to run slower? And I think we did 10 to 12 yards together. And we just laughed our arses off the entire time. It was just like we just had a party. It was just incredible. And again, that was another key thing about Backyard Ultra. It's not an individual sport. It's very much a team sport. Yes, you might be there to win it, but you can't win it without the other people. And we all have the same goal. We all want to we all want a distance PB, whatever that looks like, whether it's 12 miles or 200 miles, we all want a distance PB. So we're all working together to see each other through. So running with him was a phenomenal experience. And then I guess a low point from that same race was when I was so sleep deprived. I was actually falling asleep on the course, and the thing that was waking me up was the fact I was not on the course anymore. I was just like going through the bushes. So yeah, and that was tricky. And on that course they have a safety bike at night, so they're not allowed to interfere with you at all. But because it's a woods, if you do go off course, it could quite quickly become quite a dangerous situation. So the bike is just there to keep an eye on the runners to make sure they're all on course. And like I said, they can't get involved with you, so they're staying a safe distance. And so I was falling asleep, so I decided to put my music on and do a full-on karaoke session. But I was so sleep deprived, I had no words. I just had mumblings, but very loud ones. Nothing made sense. And then I just got the giggles, because I thought, what must this person on the safety bike think? Because I'm veering all over the place. I think I'm singing, but they can probably hear some mental woman screaming random sounds into the woods. But yeah, and they stuck to the rules. They did not, like in any other situation, I think someone would have maybe sent for a medic, but or a straitjacket perhaps. But yeah.
It's fine. It's just Lizzie. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's just me.
normal.
It's just me singing. Yeah.
So I guess those conversations that you're able to have during backyard, just, doing 12 laps with somebody, but both getting back to the same point at the same time and not affecting position or not affecting a leaderboard, that's quite different to wanting to be competitive in a point to point where you could find yourself running for sort of 12 hours totally on your own without anybody to talk to.
Yeah, there's always, if you want to, there's always someone to talk to. And the other weird thing is you might only speak to that person for that 1 yard. you speak to them for 1 yard, you might never see them again because they run a different pace or they DNF. So you're kind of fitting everything into 40 into I don't know 50 minutes, and then you may or may not see them again on the next yard. So I always have this sense of the conversation needs to be complete by the end of the yard, because otherwise it's going to drive you crazy. You'll be like, oh my God, but they were telling me about this exciting thing that happened on holiday, but I never found out the end of the story. So yeah, you've got to finish each conversation.
I don't think a backyard would work for you, Sarah. You wouldn't be able to squeeze in all that conversation.
I don't know. I thought, well, our next question was going to be sort of like say Rob and I chat about backyards, don't we? You're quite keen.
I'm really keen for it. I really relate to what you just said as well, because we did a marathon around a roundabout a little while ago.
Oh gosh.
No, not we. Here, it wasn't a we.
All right. Well, I did it. And, but yeah, there were a few people doing it. Yeah, what you're saying about not seeing people is so bizarre. It was 116 laps around a roundabout, and and I didn't see. There was a chap I was chatting to for sort of like the first maybe 5 miles, and then I just didn't see him again until like 20 miles in, which is weird because he's just sitting behind you, but you just don't see them. So yeah, it's quite psychological actually, because I just think, oh yeah, we'll just catch up in a minute, and it'll just be all chatty, and yeah, you find yourself just running by yourself.
Yeah.
So
I mean
sorry, go on.
That can happen in backyard as well, that you find, certainly in the later stages, you just spend a really, really long time on your own. So you need to be able to entertain yourself as well.
Yeah. I was going to change this question. We'd written down, what advice would you give to somebody? But I was just going to ask if it's all right. So imagine you're talking to an idiot. What advice would you give me, particularly with someone eyeing their first backyard?
Sorry, what advice would I give to someone doing their first backyard?
Yeah.
I think it would be don't set a goal. Go there to learn, go there to enjoy, go there to experience everything that backyard has to offer, which is probably a lot more than you realize. And don't be hard on yourself, because sometimes people turn up with thinking they'll go really far, and then they could, I think it was on the one in March, someone was on like the second or third lap and they tripped over one of the guy ropes for their tent, for their their crew tent. That was it, race was over. So just go and enjoy it. Don't set any goals, just have fun.
There you go.
Good advice. Don't trip over the tents.
Don't
Enjoy
trip over
yourself.
the tents. Yeah.
You said at the start, Rob said at the start about, do you go in at having a target distance, and that, I guess that's a massive takeaway for Rob or us, is that actually there's no distance. Don't go in with any distance. I think that's
well, yeah, but then I go against what I advise, because so I'm currently number 2 in the UK female, and Sarah Perry is number 1. Sarah Perry's record used to be 59, and my record was 50. So I only needed 60 to get that UK number 1 spot. And so the last 2 backyard ultras I went into, I was obsessed. I just want, I don't care if I win, I don't care how I do, I just want that number 1 spot, because I knew she was doing I knew she was doing bigs in October, so no matter what, she would push way beyond her record, as obviously she did. She's got 95 now, so she's massively moved the goalposts for me. So it's sometimes you can set yourself maybe mini goals. It's you got to be careful. You just have to be careful, and you have to understand how you react, I suppose. If you've set yourself the first goal of 24 hours, what will happen to you when you get there? Are you going to be happy to carry on, or are you just going to think, yay, 24 hours and then go home? So
I think we'll take your first bit of advice about no distance.
yeah just
are you going to push for that number 1 spot?
I'm pushing for the first female to break 100 yards.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. Like I said, she's massively moved the goalposts, but
watch this space.
Watch this space. Yeah.
Should we do truth or lie? Let's do truth or lie. So I know you've got some statements, Lizzie, and I know you know how the format works. So if you could give us your first statement, and then we'll guess, and then after your statements, we'll then reveal the answers. So
Cool.
could we please have statement number 1, please?
I refused to participate in cross-country races at school because I did not like running.
Who did enjoy cross-country races
Yeah.
at school?
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say they enjoyed
Yeah.
cross-country.
At school I work at, they have cross country, and I hope no one from school listens. And they just run around the field, and so I'm having to try and motivate kids to do cross country when it's so boring running around a rugby pitch. I mean,
We've just lost our sponsorship from the pod. No, they don't sponsor us really.
It's true. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can bring in the backyard ultra form
Yeah.
for the rugby pitch. Slowly knock the kids out as they go around.
How was your cross country at school around fields?
It was round fields.
I'm
There was well, I didn't actually do a race because they couldn't make me, but I understand it was there was ditches, hedges, and a stile as well.
Oh, I'm still gonna go. I think
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go false. Did you actually? Because I just hated getting changed.
Well, for
Yeah, that
for
that was
everything.
that was a
That was the
big
worst
part of me. I hated the communal
Were you
training,
worried about taking your
changing rooms,
pants
and
off?
then you had to have a shower like afterwards. I think that was my main. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to have a shower with everyone
the showers
else.
never worked. So that's probably
Yeah.
half the issue. Just anyone who knows me knows that I'm quite happy just to get naked and start running around. So yeah, that wouldn't have been a problem. But
I think so. You're saying
I'm gonna go false.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go true. So we've got true.
true, false.
Yeah, fine. Statement number 2, please.
Blossom and Clucky were the ring bearers at our wedding.
And these must be your hens.
Yeah.
Were they on?
Did they get to the altar? Did they?
They came into the song Here Comes the Girls. They wore matching bridesmaid jackets, and each one had a pocket, and there was one ring in each pocket.
How did they walk down the?
They were in a carriage.
Oh, it's true. It's true. It has to be true. Oh, it's true.
Did they end up going somewhere else? Did they just run off in a different direction?
They stayed. We got them out of the carriage to get the rings and have a cuddle with them. They did not poo on my wedding dress, and then they went back in the carriage, and then the animal handler took them back home.
Well, it sounds mad, so it has to be true.
I'm going true. Well, you feel first two have been so good. I'm now like,
I'm not having this. I think I'm gonna go.
I think she's thrown a curveball.
So we're going Rob.
I'm
Rob's
going
true. Sarah's. I'm going false. But if it's true, that's brilliant. Okay, next one, please.
I used to live in a palace.
What?
Alice.
where can we ask where the palace was?
It was in Amman in Jordan.
Wow.
I mean, how deep can you go? I mean, why? Why were you in a palace in Jordan?
So I used to work as a nanny for the royal Jordanian family.
Wow.
I've heard of people
How long were you there for?
doing this.
2 years.
Did you get any running done there?
I ran on the so I couldn't leave it was for security reasons. It was too difficult to leave the palace and just sort of like run outside. But the family very kindly let me use their on-site gym, and there was a treadmill, and I trained for my first marathon. I did all my training on a flat, because I didn't know what I was doing, on a flat treadmill. And the marathon was outside in the heat. And Amman is known as the city of 7 hills.
I have to go false, but I don't know now.
I'm gonna go. Oh, I think that's true. I think it's very believable.
I can go true on this without clashing with anybody.
Yeah,
there could be 2 false answers, Rob.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm happy with my answers. I've gone a bit against the grain here.
Okay.
The chickens is definitely true. It's got to be.
Okay, fine.
Hens, sorry, is that right?
Hens.
Did I get the right?
Statement number 1, please. Was that true or false?
That was true, because we did not have cross-country races at school.
I knew there'd be a catch.
But I did refuse. To do running on the athletics track, because I hated it, and I would sit down, legs and arms crossed, would not do it.
Oh,
Right, Lizzie, I'm feeling
taken down on a technicality.
One has to be true because, like, come on.
So I nearly said that the chickens were our bridesmaids, but I did say they were our ring bearers, and they were our ring bearers, so it's true.
Yes, I read it.
You haven't.
True feels.
Yeah.
Lizzie, yes.
How do you know the last one's false?
Because it's two truths or a lie.
Or, not and.
Or,
Hang on, did
No.
I say the first one was true?
yeah.
Oh no, it's false because we did.
Oh, Lizzie.
That's a curveball. No, hang on. Yeah, no, it's for. I'm confusing myself. No, it's. I said. So I refused to participate in
It's fine,
cross-country
Lizzie,
races
don't
at
stop
school.
talking. Stop talking.
Yeah.
Stop talking, Lizzie.
Do you want to know the last one then? Right, I used to live in a palace. That is true.
Oh, Lizzie, I thought we were going to get on so well.
So it's
No.
what is it? It's true. No, hang on, it's false true.
Basically, Rob wins.
Oh, no, I've come last.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
I win.
You got 3 out of 3, Rob.
I'll get in.
Yay!
The first time you've ever won.
I think, yeah, the only one I ever won was my own one.
And I'm sure there's a disclaimer that if you won, you had to enter Backyard Ultra.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I was just going to say whoever wins gets number 4 on Sarah's calendar that she's annoyingly not opened, but I'll enter a Backyard Ultra.
Sorry, Kate.
Oh, well, that was a good one. I
Hang on.
particularly like the wedding one. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
There are
very-
photos
Should we do
online
a
somewhere.
poll of which one to enter?
Yeah, we could do.
Wait a minute, hang on, I won. Why do I have to do a backyard? You guys have
It's
to do a
fun.
backyard.
I think it's fancy dress or something.
No, I didn't get around to doing it. Okay, so obviously you do some mammoth events. What is your go-to recovery strategy after something massive like 50 hours of backyard?
Depends where I am. If I come home, then it's usually a cup of tea and an Easter egg on the sofa, followed by veggie burger and animal fries, and then a couple of days later, then go on holiday somewhere.
Oh, lovely.
So yes, I've just come back from Turkey because I did Copthorne races. Came home on the Sunday, went to Turkey on Tuesday. So
I just realised something as well. I wanted to talk to you about your Copthorne victory first. Yeah, I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you.
I was going to
That's
mention
okay.
that first. We'll go back
go
to that.
back.
Let's go
Yeah.
back. Yeah, massive congrats. That was what I
Thank
worked a
you.
week ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks, I think. Yeah,
And
22nd,
your
23rd.
third time of entering in your third victory. Is that right?
Yeah. It's it's a bit backyard-esque because it's 10-mile loops of Box Hill in Surrey.
Hmm.
The Box Hill climb is something like 270 steps. And that's not the only staircase on the course. There's a lot of steps. So it's a really mentally challenging race. So the first year I did it, only 2 of us finished. So I was the only female. The second year I did it, I was the only person to finish. And then this year was crazy. We had 7 finishes this year. So so 3 times I've done it, and 3 female wins. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not doing it again though.
And it's Canary events, isn't it?
Yeah,
And you have
Canary
to carry
Trail
Canary
events.
on you. So do
Yeah.
you have like, I've seen different people. Some people have like the little stuffed toys. Some people have like badges sewed onto their bags. How do you carry yours?
So this year I was not very organised and nearly forgot my canary. So I did a last minute print, and I had a printed canary on my phone. It was a bit rubbish. But last year, I can't remember the first year, but last year I had like a physical little canary in my pocket.
Pretty
So
cool thing.
They say is there a forfeit if you don't have a canary?
£20 to the charity box.
Oh, to charity. I was going to say,
Yeah,
just charging
yeah.
£20. I thought they
Yeah.
were going to make you do another lap or something.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. All their races are very much sort of charity based. So there's a swear box as well, and you
wow,
bring
that would
like
be-
the one I just did. You bring a gift. It's like a children's gifting charity. So they encourage everyone to bring a gift for that as well. So yeah, it's very much charity based.
I don't think Rob's going to enter that one.
I-
This race would
I'm-
cost him an absolute fortune.
I'm such a bad person because all I can think in my head is if I just run around the 10-mile loop swearing non-stop, it's good for charity.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, but I'll just ruin the trails. The North Downs Way will just...
And you'd also forget your canary.
I wouldn't have a canary. Yeah.
It'd be a very expensive race.
So-
Yeah.
So are there some? So from the race you've done 3 times, are there any what are the highs and the lows? Like surely the steps, the Box Hill steps have got to be a low. Am I right or wrong?
I love the steps. So this is all mindset. I get to the bottom of the steps, and actually, Satan, the staircase is the ones that are actually worse, I think, in terms of difficulty. And I just get to the bottom of all the steps, and I'm so happy and grateful to be there. And they are delivering me to somewhere where I want to be. So the top of the Box Hill steps, you've got the trig points, and at Satan's staircase, once you've got to the top, it's pretty much 1.5 miles downhill all the way into the checkpoint. So I certainly would not feel any negativity around the steps. But for me this year, then I did get, what was it? Oh, I went off course. You really have to stay switched on that course, even though you're doing the same lap again and again. It's a bit like the Bermuda Triangle. It kind of changes overnight. Like as there's more leaves on the floor, there's more mud, bigger puddles, and it just kind of looks different. And you can quite easily just go the wrong way, which is what I did. And then I went to the map screen on my watch, but realised I still had my watch set up for Backyard Ultra, so it doesn't have map on there. So I couldn't. There was no way to see how far off course I was. So I went to get my phone out to phone the RD in a panic because you're on a tracker. But I just thought, oh God, stop being such a baby. Just retrace your steps. So I just went back the way I came, found a canary sign, and it was all fine. But it was interesting how quickly everything was fine, and then it was like this. I then very quickly went into this blind panic, but then very quickly snapped myself out of it again. So that wasn't my finest moment. And there was another. I started obsessing over bananas, and there weren't any bananas anywhere, and I'd sort of not eaten perhaps enough, and I was getting a bit hungry, and then I started that was a time when I started sort of going into a bad place. But so I think that course for me, it's I think the negativity could hit you anywhere, and that's what makes it so difficult. It might not be a physical aspect of the course. It might be just that course just really mucks up your head, to be honest. So yeah, you've got to stay positive and strong the entire time, and don't let yourself switch off. And then you need to have the capabilities to, if you do start spiraling, you need to have the capabilities to get out of that and make yourself happy again. So for me, I had the word elation in my head. I was really elated to be there. It was my 3rd time. I was really elated that I was healthy. I was really elated that, I was in the position I was in. I was really elated that I was way ahead of last year's schedule. So I just kept repeating that word again and again. And then I was elated. So, and then 3 deer. I think it was that lap. 3 deer came out in front of me, and they all stood looking at me with one front leg raised, and it was incredible. It was incredible. So yeah, things change very quickly.
Pretty special. Should we do? We've done a few, haven't we? Should we jump on to the next bit?
Yeah.
I don't know, Sarah. Yeah, if you want to.
I was actually thinking, Lizzie, about that race, thinking, that'd be quite a good train. I was sort of like thinking. That race I hadn't heard of it before, but also, like you say, a great introduction to a backyard ultra, because it gives you the idea of loops but still a start to finish. So I was like, I was thinking
they do different distances. So there's a 50k, a 50 mile, 100k, 100 mile.
Yeah.
So the 50k is 3 loops, so the whole thing's done in daylight.
Yeah, I think Ben and Rick come first and second. Yeah.
I'm going to look it up after this.
The guy that does Phoenix runs.
Oh yeah, he every time because he's always there doing all of their races. He did the Rhino run in July. Rick, is it? And and he won that. And because I was marshalling, and it was quite interesting because at the point I was on the course, of all the runners that day, the half marathon and the full marathon, he was the only one that ran that bit. Everyone else is walking.
He seemed really determined, actually. I saw he was
Yeah,
posting a lot saying he was absolutely hell-bent on winning that race.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good
fair play
runner.
to him.
Right.
Now you can move on. So,
All right. So moving on to what have you got as we approach the end of this year? What have you got lined up for 2026? And if you are able to share that with us or not, because sometimes people like to keep it a bit of a secret.
Well, this year has been a big year for me. There's been quite a lot of pressure because I've represented England. I've been after this UK #1 spot. Um, Off the success of the backyard I did in January, that then got me places on other races. So I did 4 backyard ultras this year, which was never the plan. I was only ever going to do 2. It's meant I've not done stuff that I would have perhaps wanted to do. So this month I've decided to have a total break from, as in, I have no plans for next year, nothing. I have not entered anything, and I'm not even going to think about it until January. So I just feel like it's just a really nice time just to just to switch off and not have a goal basically, and just chill out for a bit. But I do know at the moment I'm currently qualified for the UK team, so the World Satellite Championships are in October. So if I'm still qualified by the end of the qualification period, that's a guarantee. And then probably something hopefully a few less backyard ultras this year and more Brecon Beacons next year, and more Brecon Beacons races. That would be really nice.
That sounds like, yeah.
It's not, but it must be quite nice to not have the pressure of having an event, because so many people always have that next event, which comes with like the guilt of not training or the guilt of not being on it, or like just now at the moment there are so many people that we know signed up to the Arc and the Spine, and like it's such a difficult time of year with, like, you think the build up to Christmas, and if you have kids, and like there's such a lot goes into it. I mean, it must just be very liberating to just be like, yeah, do you know what? Haven't really got anything booked in at the moment, and
That's okay.
I'm gonna run, and I'm gonna have fun doing it. But yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. My PT texted me today, actually. He said, "What's because I'm seeing him tomorrow." He said, "When's your next race?" And I said, "Don't have one booked in, and I'm not going to think about it till January." So he said, "Well, how do you feel about, rather than one session a week, should we do 2?" Because he like sets me the plan and then I follow it. And I was like, "Yeah, brilliant. Why not?" So I sort of feel like the hard work's still going to get done, and come January when I choose to enter something, I'll be in a great position for it. But yeah, this year every 8 weeks I've had a 100 or 200 mile race, and I cannot believe I have got through this year without getting injured. I've never put my body through anything like this before. I've usually I'll have done like one. Like last year I did a 200 mile, a 100 mile, and then all the other races were short ones. So yeah, it's a lot, and I just think I owe it to my to my body and my brain to just have a bit of a break from it. So but still train, but not with a goal.
yeah, she'll get an email for Barclays now.
Yeah, that is the plan. Yeah.
Go on, you do
Well, is
that.
it me?
Leslie.
You've scribbled.
No.
You've scribbled all over the thing.
Our professional operations.
It's a bit maverick today, Lizzie, and literally
Fine,
we write
fine.
an idea of who's going to do what.
Someone let Sarah loose with a pen. I can't read anything.
No, she's done a load of doodles.
Oh, we're on to fails.
I haven't been doing
You have been doodling.
So yeah, on the pod, obviously, fails is in the name, and we get into that. So first question, which Sarah's scribbled my name next to, is biggest training or racing mistake that you've made, and what did you learn from it?
So I'm going to be really annoying. I will give you something, but you can never make mistakes because you always learn from them. But I would say my second ever ultra, the whole thing was quite a big mistake, because that was the one I'd entered to get the UTMB ballot spot, whatever. I had no idea what I was doing, so my shoes were not big enough. I could have done with poles. I didn't have poles. I didn't have the right outfit, right clothes, because I hadn't factored in that in November the weather is different, and that the dark is darker and longer. So there were so many fails on that race, but I completed it. I also told everyone when they asked me, oh, how long do you think it will take you? I'd taken my marathon time and times it by X and decided I could do 82 miles in like something like 12 or 16 hours or whatever. I did it in just under 22. So that was that was pretty horrific out there at the time when I thought I would be finished, to still have like 20-30 miles left to go. So that was a lot of learning. I don't like to think of them as mistakes, because I just learned so much.
I completely agree. A boy I used to teach, his mum used the acronym FAIL as first attempt in learning, and I use that in my. I think it's a really lovely acronym to be able to share to kids as well.
I'm going to write that down.
Oh,
that is amazing. I love it.
I will email her and let her know that I'm still sharing that word.
Brilliant.
So, yeah. So talking about, again, using the word fail, but what's the worst kit fail you've experienced mid-race?
Oh, well, nothing really springs to mind, other than I did the fan dance, and in clean fatigue, so that's as a runner, not as a in full military kit. And I remember I was desperate for a wee, and I'd realized that I was running out of opportunities to be able to do it discreetly. And I don't know, I guess when I squatted down, something weird happened with my coat, because when I got running again, I realized my zip was undone, but from the bottom, and I'd somehow broken the zip. So it was, and that was possibly the worst condition. I mean, I started the race in my full kit, including emergency layers. There was nothing left. I mean, that's how bad the weather was. And so I was running in like wind, snow, and a not fully functioning waterproof jacket. But it had like a little popper at the bottom, so I did that up, and that sort of helped a little bit. But and I always have safety pins in my bag, so I could have fixed it if I wanted to. So
that's a good thing to be carrying as an emergency, actually.
Yeah.
So
I need safety kits just to hold my everyday kit together.
So true, Lizzie. We won't even go there, but Rob certainly would need a lot of safety.
The holy jacket.
As we said before, you getting your money's worth in that kit is helping the environment. So well done. Right, shall we get on to quick fire rounds?
Yes, my
favourite. Your favourite bit. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You're starting, Sarah.
Ready, Lizzie? I get a little bit caught up to be like, boom, boom, boom. All right, ready? Hallucination highlight from the race.
Never had one ever.
Oh.
I did nearly on Wild Horse 200. There were snails everywhere, and I said to Fran, my pacer, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm finally having my first hallucination." He's like, "Wow, what is it?" And I was like, "There's snails, thousands of snails everywhere." And he's like, "No, they're really there." Oh, okay.
Your go-to training snack.
So on a long run, I would have snacked bars and hula hoops, and on a shorter, like higher intensity, like intervals, I would have protein rebel gels, Voom bars, Cliff blocks, that sort of thing. Yeah, afterwards. Beacons Way, 100 miles.
Dream race still on the bucket list?
That's tricky. I'm one of those people, I just do it. If I want to do something, I'll enter it. So anything in the Brecon Beacons. I've not done the Epona. I'd really like to do that. Actually, that could be one I do next year.
I keep thinking, right, bit of kit you
Am
swear
I too
by.
quick on the quick fire?
Yeah.
Bit of kit you swear by.
My Montaigne, I don't know if I'm pronouncing them right. Montaigne Bonatti over mittens. So they're quite thin, waterproof over mittens, and they're amazing. I love them so much.
Music, podcast, or silence on long runs?
Silent.
Just writing down Montaigne mittens. The spine challenge.
Just
advice to your younger self before your first ultra.
Brain. Wear bigger shoes. Take more snacks.
Yeah, love that.
Favorite post-race meal?
If it's a meal, then veggie burgers with animal fries or pizza.
Sorry, hang on. How does that work? Veggie burgers with animal fries?
So, yeah.
I just need to hear.
As soon as I said that, I realised it. I mean, usually I guess they'd be called dirty fries, but the ones I have, they don't have any meat. So I guess that's why they're animal fries.
That wasn't a quick answer, Max. That was an extra question.
If you could race in just one weather forever, either really hot or super cold, what would you go for?
Cold.
Cold.
Yeah.
Cold.
And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap.
Yeah.
We've not done an ep for like 3 weeks. It's just life has just been mad, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And
then you
I
hit
have
me.
absolutely just loved chatting.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been great.
I think Backyard Ultra is like a few more steps forward now. And it's probably
you should definitely. You need to do
Yeah,
it.
I've always been keen, but I think you're bringing the backyard personality. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a
I
window
think-
into what happens.
I feel like your personality might suit Backyard Ultra, Rob. And I'm saying that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
Good.
I'm worried I'll be really boring. I'll just get my head down and just run. I'll be that miserable one that no one wants to speak to on the laps.
Did you
Rubbish.
know about the themed? There's themed laps on a Backyard Ultra. So, for example, after the 8th one, you would eat, and after 8, you would wear a tutu at 22. So yeah, there's certain fancy dress item. I think flat cap's 4. So you wear a flat cap on the 4th one. I never.
Is this actually a thing, or is this
It's
a
just making this up,
actually
isn't it?
no. It's I must confess I've never participated, but I very much enjoy looking at everyone else who participate. Yeah, it's very much a thing. Yeah.
Oh,
It's a whole other level, though,
So
of
you
having
can
to
get
organise
your
all of your race
tutu.
stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a friend
Lizzie's
who
never hallucinated, but she
yeah.
has been coerced into randomly dressing up. on
yeah,
every lap.
turns out I was the only one in a tutu, but I thought everyone else had one on.
brilliant.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, thank you so
that's a
much.
wrap.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Brilliant.
so much for coming on.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thank you
And
for having
good
me.
luck whatever your next event is.
Thank you.
See you
Surprise.
soon.
Bye.